Good day, Sports Professor Rick Horrow. Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, Insider's Guide to the trillion-dollar business of sports, with a serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. We're today and this week at the 2016 MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. 10th one of these. 10 years ago, they all were lamenting, the founders, that nobody took analytics seriously. We will be having a number of guests over the next few weeks that take it to a new level. Now you can't make a player move or a trade without some relevant statistics and analysis. It doesn't measure somebody's mind, it doesn't measure somebody's heart, but it certainly measures the justification for the pocketbook, and that's really clear. And you know who's here? Everybody in the sports industry, including 400-some-odd management programs, 350 marketing programs, 225 sports law programs or classes, and 195 sports administration classes. And 40 years ago, when we were starting in this business, there was no such thing. If you were an agent, it was because someone told you that you were an agent or that an athlete called you an agent. It has come a long way. Analytics have come a long way. And the bottom line of all of this, by the way, a lot of discussions about the better the in-stadium analytic experience, the harder it's going to be to stay away and watch the game on TV, but yet people want to pay the mega ratings dollars. And that is the big trade-off everybody is grasping and everybody is dealing with, the whole notion of decouching and what it really means. Well, that's what they're doing at the Analytics Conference in a number of different perspectives. We will take a spring check-in on football. The NCAA Athletic Director of the Year, Joe Castiglione, University of Oklahoma. He's also the head of the NCAA Basketball Selection Committee, for those of us who care about March Madness. NFL, Miami Dolphins, Tom Garfinkel, President, CEO, Sun Life and the Dolphins. NFL International, Mark Waller, EVP for all platforms, NFL Ventures, NFL.com, all of the NFL issues as far as England and beyond. And the bottom line is football never sleeps. Spring football never sleeps. Analytics never sleeps. We'll cover all of that in just a couple of minutes.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS, or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates, and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Kid, this facility is like a ship. So how do I keep us on course without micromanaging every detail? Easy, with Grainger. Granger's online tools help give me the visibility I need. I can shop, order, and manage all our activity. Oversee purchases, control costs, all while you guys get to order what you need when you need it. I run a tight ship, kid. I run it with Granger. Get it? Got it? Good. Learn more at Granger.com/online purchasing. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
iHeartRadio loves music, so let's count the ways. Over 20 million songs from 800,000 artists, all free. And like Pandora, you can create your own custom station from any of those 800,000 artists. Just tell us an artist or even a song that you like, and we'll build a custom playlist for you. Add to that thousands of the best live radio stations, and you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect song for your commute, mood, or party. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, Sirius show doesn't take itself too seriously. A spring check-in on football at a number of levels. And we start with the Athletic Director of the Year a couple of years ago, University of Oklahoma AD. Walk-on football player at the University of Maryland, 7 national championships under his tenure. University of Oklahoma Athletic Director, Joe Castiglione.
Well, the focus is still on the student athlete, as it should be. And regardless of the sport in which they play, they come to a university with, dreams and aspirations and trying to find their way. And we're here to try to provide the resources and the structure and the ability for them to use their gifts to get an education and leave here with a meaningful degree. And while they're at it, they come with some special talents that they actually can use, both in gaining, the financial aid as well as, the opportunity to compete against the best in the country and then learn, all the other aspects of growing and becoming a more prepared person, when they're ready to leave. And so that's still our primary responsibility. But as we go forward, we're having to face, so many more challenges and trying to provide that opportunity, and we're working through it. We wish we could have been able to do them sooner than we've been able to do them, and now we've made the changes in our governance structure, as you referred to at the outset, that allow us to make, decisions that permit us to use some of the resources to help student athletes. And, yet we're, seems like every week or so someone's challenging, the role of amateurism, and we're trying to deal with that too. But every day that we have student athletes under our leadership, we're trying to provide them the best miles so they can be prepared when they leave.
And Joe, we've talked about this before. Obviously, you run a tight ship at one of the top 15, 20, maybe even more revenue-producing athletic programs in the country. What's it like, the new feeling of effectively budgeting to uncertainty? You've always got to do some planning in advance. This is a business show. We now have the O'Bannon case winding its way through the appellate level. We've got the Power 5 shakeup. You've been on the governing committee, so you understand how things are changing. Conference musical chairs may be over in many respects, but the allocation of dollars to student athletes is evolving as well. So is your pencil sharpened in a different way than it was a couple of years ago?
It certainly is, in spite of, the constant reports of increased revenue, be it coming from the inception of a college football playoff or conference revenue sharing, which is fortified by television rights fees. There are probably just as many examples that don't get talked about referring to the rise in expense. It's much more challenging to try and create a broad-based athletic program, a successful one on top of that, than it's ever been. And people can point to 1, 2, or 3 different things in that regard too, and say, well, if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't have these kinds of pressures. But we don't individually get to define the marketplace at each and every turn, but we still have to respond to it. That is, in fact, if we want to, continue to remain competitive in certain areas. And so, sometimes, things grow at rates that are mind-boggling, but again, we have a choice to do it or not, and then, accept the repercussions from whatever decision we made either way. And so it is more challenging than it's ever been before. But, we have to remain entrepreneurial. We at Oklahoma are one of only 5 universities left in America at any level that can say they're truly self-sustaining, which by definition is operating under our own power. We don't receive any financial support from the state, no tax appropriations or anything of that nature. We don't have any institutional financial subsidies, nor do we have any student fees that flow to intercollegiate athletics. Whatever penny, dime, dollar we spend, we have to generate on our own. On top of that, we're good stewards of our resources, and we're actually helping the university to a tune of about $8 million per year. So we have to be entrepreneurial. But when we do that, Rick, we don't operate, totally with the idea of commercialization. We're trying to figure out, the revenue streams that are possible and generate, those new streams to go back to, funding the model we have for, in our case, 21 sports, almost 600 student athletes, and that we're paying our way, building state-of-the-art facilities, trying to provide all the resources for student athletes, hiring and retaining outstanding coaches and staff, and as I mentioned, being a great extension of the university mission.
It's a hard question to ask because I'm asking you for that crimson-colored crystal ball for you to take it out and look a decade ahead. You can't even look a week ahead in some contexts. But as one of the self-sustaining 5, you're in a different situation, yet you're viewed as a consensus builder as it relates to governance for entire D1 structure in the future, and I'd say probably all of college athletics. So let's call them the non-revenue sustaining D1 schools, and then the D2, D3, I know they go by another name, schools. And how do you reconcile the differences and disparities over time as you look at issues like number of sports you have to have, men's versus women's playoff system, all of the recruiting student athletes, let's call it, all of those issues are huge issues, but they're dealt with differently at different levels. So comment on that if that's not too much to comment on.
Who is it we're trying to be? Are we trying to be competitive with schools that are, in a different category in terms of their ability to generate revenue, or are we trying to be competitive with the schools that have like missions, like opportunities, like sources of revenue? And one gets into trouble when we don't want to take away the American dream and the idea of improving and building a program and becoming successful, because if not for that, we wouldn't have seen some of the great stories in sport. But some of the frustrations come into play, Rick, as you mentioned, when certain schools that don't have the means, and not because any of us say they don't, it's just they're operating within their ability to generate those kinds of resources, trying to be like another school that has significantly more opportunity. And so therein lies the rub. We can't legislate that, nor should we, and we shouldn't take away someone's aspirational opportunity to grow their program and strengthen their university. That doesn't float in America in a way of thinking of improving, but sometimes these arguments get defined along those lines. And if we are supposed to create a homogeneous approach where everybody has the same resources, well, then somebody needs to tell us that, and if not, we want to be able to, focus on, what's in our best interest at our university and try to strengthen our own conference and, our conference in competing against, other conferences, if you will. I mean, it's not really the conference to conference. That's probably not well said, but more the institutions trying to compete for a championship.
Joe has a lot to say, but he's also the head of the selection committee of the NCAA basketball tournament, so it is a busy month for our good friend Joe Castiglione. Up next, Tom Garfinkel, Miami Dolphins, Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Attention catheter users. Stop reusing dirty catheters. Catheters are now disposable. Recent changes in Medicare now allow patients up to 200 disposable catheters a month, all at little or no cost to you. We bill Medicare. Put an end to the mess and risk of infection by using old catheters. Just use a catheter once and throw it away. Eliminate trips to the pharmacy and insurance paperwork. Shipping is free. Receive a free catheter sample by calling and joining Medical Direct Club right now. Call 1-800-399-9018 to receive your free catheter sample discreetly delivered right to your door. That's 1-800-399-9018. 1-800-399-9018. Call 1-800-399-9018 today. Deductibles and copays apply. Free catheter samples require qualified membership. Sample will arrive with 90-day order.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, our spring check on football and stadiums. Miami Dolphins Sun Life President and CEO Tom Garfinkel went to University of Colorado and the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan. Miami Dolphin owner Steve Ross. Padres, Diamondbacks, NASCAR, diverse experience. Tom Garfinkel.
I wasn't home much in auto racing. I was traveling probably 38 weekends a year, and I had two little kids at the time, and had always wanted to really be in team sports. And you know, by the way, auto racing is it's a team sport. It takes a team to win those races. And but really, you know, for the long term, felt like I want to get outside of my comfort zone a little bit and, you know, learn and get into a new area. I had an opportunity to go to the Diamondbacks, and, you know, obviously went there in 2006, was there for a couple of years and learned a lot there before heading over to the Padres. So, you know, just a great experience in both. We won the division in 2007 and went to the LCS, the playoffs, had a great experience. And had worked with some great people there and learned a lot.
Well, yeah, you talk about the on-the-field stuff, and I know you could take some credit for that, but the big issue for our listeners is the $1.2 billion TV contract you did in San Diego, the concessions, the new Wi-Fi throughout the ballpark, and basically upgraded Petco to a first-class facility. Obviously something you're proud of.
Yeah, well, Larry Lucchino was really sort of the visionary behind Petco Park, and when I got to San Diego, I inherited what was already what I call world-class ballpark. I think at that time, it had been open, probably 5 or 6 years, and all I really did was kind of freshen some things up, add some new things to it. It was probably time for that because it had been open 5 or 6 years, but it was already just a wonderfully conceived place. And, some of the things with the Wi-Fi upgrades, I'm proud of what we did with concessions, and I think we, in a short amount of time, over a couple of years, I think if you go to Petco Park now, still it's one of the best concessions experiences in sports with regards to the diversity of the food and the quality of food and the job everyone's doing there in terms of just it's a great experience to go there and eat and drink and have a good time. And so we did a lot of things to try to improve that part of the experience for sure.
Well, and the rules are different, obviously, but September 9, 2013, you go to another team sport, but that changed your life being president and CEO of the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, it's really a privilege, all these jobs are, I kind of look at them like you're stewards of a public trust. I told the owners of really all the teams I've worked for, and when I came here, I said the same thing to Steve, you don't really own the team. And Steve looked at me and said, I pay a lot of money for this team,
Yeah, I wrote $1 billion check. I own it.
Yeah,
I don't care what you said. Right.
I said, yeah, well, the team was here before you got here. It'll be here after you're gone. And it really belongs to the fans and the community and the people that were here before us, the players, the coaches, and all the staff and people that worked here before. So, Steve certainly understands that and is I think, one of the most responsible, unselfish, stewards as an owner I've been around in terms of understanding that. Certainly his, $450 million plus commitment to improving the stadium is a testament to that, but also his passion and desire to win and his commitment and investment in that as well. And he cares. He cares about the fans, and he understands the legacy that came before him with the Dolphins and what that means.
Shameless plug, by the way. Thank you very much for that. I have Larry Lucchino on the next week after you this week. So we're, following in somebody's footsteps. I don't know what that really means. But segue before we get to London and the matter at hand into you're halfway through, maybe more, Sun Life renovation. Probably not called a renovation. 50-year history of the Dolphins, beginning the modernization, new facility, world-class. Talk about the economics for a minute, because it is unreal to know that Steve Ross basically stroked a $425 million check with the understanding there's some return attached to it, but it puts South Florida in line for some Super Bowls, which inure to the benefit of the community even more than the team. So I laid a lot out there. Comment on all that, though, if you would.
Well, I think the stadium is 27 years old. Certainly needed upgrading. I think what's most exciting about it is when you really think about, what some of the challenges were with the fan experience at the stadium. The stadium was obviously a multi-use stadium with baseball and everything for many, many years. So it didn't have the intimacy that fans loved about, for example, the old Orange Bowl, and you weren't as close to the field maybe as you could have been. And it's hot, and there's a lot of intermittent, tropical rainstorms that come and go. And when it rains, it's like God's pouring a bucket of water on your head for 10 minutes, and then it doesn't rain for another hour, So, putting this roof canopy on is going to protect people from both those rainstorms as well as the really hot sun. And, that's a big investment, putting a roof canopy on that still has an aperture in the middle and is safe for hurricane type winds and everything else is a pretty major engineering undertaking and financial undertaking. So the combination of moving the seats 25 feet closer to the field on either side, creating more intimacy, and putting on that roof canopy, both of which were really Steve's vision of change, it has been the most dramatic and impactful things I think we can do to the stadium. And incidentally, it'll still be hot on the field. So, the competitive advantage that people in Miami talk about the Dolphins having for many years for practicing in this heat, for training camp and the weeks leading up to September, and then having those hot September games, is still going to be in play for the players. The fans will be protected from those elements, and again, it's really a testament to Steve's commitment, and he really wanted something that it's going to be here for a long, long time. That the Dolphins would continue to stay in Miami for and be solidified in staying in Miami for the next 30 years. And one thing Steve never really talked about was moving the team. He's never threatened to move the team or come out and said, I'm going to, he wanted the team to stay where it is. He knew that was important, and this commitment will ensure that happens for a long time.
I hear there's a rumor that you've been tasked to attempt to amend the CBA to reinstitute the Don Shula-driven 5-a-day workouts that were the key to Dolphin success in the 70s in September because of the heat. Any truth to that?
That's not a true rumor, but I will comment that we had Coach out to the training camp, a couple times. And I was standing there with him back in, August and July, and the team was taking a water break. And, we now have, nutritionists, there's all this sports science going on. Coach Shula just looked at me and said, water breaks? They shouldn't get any water, Well, you didn't have more guys passing out on the field on you back then. But the stories from, Rose and Bo Camper and Greasy and Dan and Matt Moore and all those guys are fantastic. And, I love hearing all the Coach Shula stories. But he certainly was a demanding guy to play for. There's no question.
Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, check Don Shula's record in September, and you'll understand why that's so serious. 5-6 minutes left. Tom Garfinkel, President and CEO of the Dolphins. Talk a little bit about the logistical challenges from a business perspective on transporting a basically medium-sized business to England for a week and then bringing it back.
Well, it's really, I think the team approaches it no differently than any other away game. I know that sounds a little crazy when you consider, that we're in another country, but, if we were flying to Seattle, it's not terribly different than flying to London. I know the coach decides, when the team comes over and how they choose to prepare. So, they're actually coming over, Thursday evening or get in Friday morning and prepare for the game, in a similar fashion that they would another away game that they might fly in for on Saturday. They'll have an extra day or two to get adapted to the time change. But, I think from a logistical and preparation standpoint, I know the coaching staff and Joe Cimino, our equipment manager, is just fantastic. He's I often say if everybody has his work ethic and attitude, we'd never lose a game or anything. The guy's just fantastic. So that staff and the way they approach things and the way they handle the logistics and do all that, it's an impressive thing to witness. And I think they approach coming over here to London in a very similar manner than they might going to San Francisco. So we try to keep it as business as usual and not change the routine too much.
That's the on-the-field stuff. Now, from a boardroom perspective, and I know you don't want to get too specific on numbers, but from a business show perspective, the expenses, the NFL making you whole for certain aspects of the trip, the bye week after, but that's more on the field. Kind of just describe the business deal involved in taking a home game overseas.
Well, we work with the NFL on that, and they help make us whole, like you said. We kind of determine a tier structure of the games based on the variable pricing and what tier the game might have been in, and kind of do a comparison on what our expenses and revenues are for those games that are comparable games. And then they make us whole for what we would have done, had we held this game at home. I think the experience for the team and for the fans to go over to London, we've certainly got some of our key corporate partners over here that we're entertaining in London. We'll have, we've discovered there's over 1,000 season ticket members coming to the game. So we'll host, we've taken over a pub in downtown London called the Dolphins House, and we'll have alumni players there, and, all day long fans can come in and just interact, and it's kind of the Dolphin Central, if you will. And then we'll, obviously at the game, we've got a lot of fans over here in the UK having come over here for many years. it's an impressive thing. If you go on Twitter, you'll see all the fans we have in the UK, and there's a lot of them. So I think it's good for the sport. It's good for the NFL. It's good for the Dolphins, and it's something we enjoy doing.
Tom Garfinkel checking in with us on Dolphins, on Stadium, on soccer, and a whole host of things. Back with NFL from an international perspective in just a minute.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Spring check on football. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Serious show, not taking itself too seriously. We get to the NFL piece, but the international piece. Mark Waller, EVP of International, all platforms for the NFL. NFL Ventures, NFL Network, NFL.com. Born in Kenya and an international perspective, Mark Waller.
The NFL is an extraordinary brand. I think the best metric is definitely the sort of number of fans in the UK. So when we started on this journey, we started measuring fandom in 2009, I believe, was the first year, and we were just over 2 million, and we're now at about 4 million. So we've essentially doubled the fan base, and that's sort of a combination, obviously, of playing the games and then great broadcast and media coverage. So great partner in Sky. That really is the home of the NFL in the UK, and then just recently back on the BBC for this year. So that definitely helps spread the word.
Football marketing people and executives are visionaries. Football on-field people sometimes are traditionalists. How have you been able, since those early 2007 days, to reverse the presumption that this game was an inconvenience?
We worked really hard in the first 3 years. Our real goal was to make sure that the teams that came here went home happy, in as much as you can, particularly if you lose a game, but also that they felt that they returned back as competitive as when they left. And so we put a huge amount of focus on team satisfaction and making sure that the logistics worked, making sure that Wembley was tip-top, which it always has been, and really ensuring that any team that went back to the US would speak favorably about their experience in the UK.
And of course, selling the concept internally is one matter, but selling American football internationally is another. What were the greatest commonalities that you found trying to sell American football to not a skeptical, but a largely unaware English and international audience?
Yeah, I'm not sure that, to be honest, that the English audience or the international audience is unaware. I think the issue for our fans around the world is it's tough to access the best NFL experience live. You can't. There's only a certain number of games. They're all played in the US, and the preseason games and the friendlies that we moved around started off working exceptionally well. But the more educated fans became, the more they wanted to see the real thing. And so I think that the challenge has really been, okay, well, how do you give them that experience? We've definitely been able to do that from a media perspective, and actually digital and social media has really helped in that regard. But the moving of games themselves is definitely something that fans have responded really well to.
And those metrics are easy for top-line people to understand, the sellouts at Wembley, the awareness, some of the sponsorships. But the grassroots programs are sometimes a little more difficult to monitor progress on. I assume you've been very happy with the way awareness has increased in the grassroots development since you began this series here.
Yeah, I think we can do more in that area. I think we focused a lot initially on bringing over the games and creating the media availability. And I think as the popularity of the sport has grown, I think there's a need for us to do more. And actually that was one of the thoughts behind bringing OCU Manura over this year to work in our office to really help us develop a better grassroots strategy and a better player development strategy.
Can he still play?
I'm sure he can. He looks good. That's for sure.
I was going to say he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more important tasks now. Believe me, the awareness and brand identification, not just to the NFL, but having a specific team to follow. Interesting. We now have an understanding the Jaguars are making a commitment through 2030 and beyond. How important is that?
Having the ownership commitment from Shad and the commitment of the Jaguars is a huge part of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build fandom not just for the league and all 32 teams, but we're trying to see, can you actually grow a fan base for a specific team? So their commitment to playing every year is a huge demonstration of the ability that we have to see whether we can grow fans or not.
And, of course, the story that came along with it was that there was, maybe not from him, but attributed to the organization, that 15% of the annual revenues from his operation come from the international game. It would be great if every owner understood that and felt like that as well. It would be good for the NFL.
Yeah, and in fact, we had a great meeting a couple of weeks ago with ownership where we took them through the NFL business model and the revenues that we're generating. And that was part of the presentation that ultimately had the ownership vote 32-0 for the new resolution. So I think there is a growing understanding from ownership that this is a great opportunity to grow the fan base and also ultimately a great revenue opportunity.
Let's talk about the new resolution. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about 2025 up until or longer, a number of games everywhere internationally, but specifically England as well as other countries. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, essentially the original resolution allowed us to play through 2016 and was restricted to the UK. And what the new resolution does is it extends to 2025, which is the time period that the master agreement exists for the NFL to manage the international business on behalf of the owners. So we're tied in now to that. And it allows us to play games anywhere. We obviously need to get ownership approval and international committee approval. But we can now start looking at playing a game in Mexico, playing games in Germany, so start broadening the horizons now that we've proved the UK model out.
Let's talk about those specific countries, and we'll come back to the UK. Mm-hmm. Mexico, Texans look like they're interested. There are obviously other connections in Mexico as well. Haven't played a game there since the Niners-Cardinals years ago. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about Mexico?
I think it's a huge opportunity for us, and you're right, the Texans are interested. A lot of teams are interested. Yeah. Obviously, there's a huge Hispanic population in the U.S. in the majority of our teams' markets. So a game in Mexico, I think, would really help reinforce that commitment to that demographic. And it's just a huge fan base. I mean, it's a shame that we've not been able to go back since 2005, but we're very focused on it, and I'd be hopeful that we can get there in the next couple of years.
Let's talk about Germany. I know you're having an activation plan. You have agencies involved in all of that. What's your long-term Germany plan beginning next year?
Essentially, what we've always said in Germany is we needed to get media distribution sorted out, and we've been able to do that this year. So we now have a baseline of distribution for the regular season. So fans can follow the league and follow the games week in, week out. That then gives us the opportunity to start looking at what can we do in the market. It's not worth putting things into the marketplace if you don't have the ability to then follow the league and the season. So now that we've built that media platform, we'll start to think through, is the next step a game? Is it, other activation ideas that are coming through? So we'll definitely sort of make our first steps back into that market as we go into 2016.
Let's talk about Brazil, Pro Bowl. A lot of discussions about moving the Pro Bowl around in addition to its Hawaiian home. Talk about that.
Yeah, we've got a really good task force being led by Peter O'Reilly, the head of events, to look at the future of Pro Bowl. And obviously there's an element there for international markets. It would be a great way to introduce markets to the selection of star players that we've got from the different teams. So we like it internationally for that reason, but it has to fit with a broader strategy for Pro Bowl, which is what Peter and his team are working on.
Individual owners, obviously returning back to Shad, there's a lot of NFL, Premier League, other English League cross-ownership as well. Shad Khan in Fulham, obviously other owners as well. Good for the sports, good for the NFL to have owners diversify like that?
Hugely beneficial for the international agenda to have owners with a global perspective on the sports business is invaluable. It's not a coincidence that we enlist, for example, Joel Glazer is part of the international committee. We frequently chat with Stan Kroenke and with Shad and others to get their perspectives and their knowledge, which is not only important for the other owners but important for us as well.
One of the things this weekend, obviously, celebrating the Jaguars' long-term commitment. They're playing the Bills. You also see Shad, Mark Lamping, the Jacksonville organization, part of Fulham. See what happens there. They've got that Visit Florida sponsorship. The synergies work both ways, don't they?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the huge benefits of being able to have a team that is committed long-term, is you're able to build out not just fan relationships, which are obviously critical, but also business partnerships. And I think Shad and Mark have done an extraordinary job of showing to the city of Jacksonville the value of a London partnership and a London commitment, and vice versa.
London partnership, London commitment, UK sponsorships, Budweiser, Hyundai, Pepsi, Visa on the masthead for international sponsorships, commitments, long-term stability. Are the sponsors happy?
Yeah, I think they'll be even happier now that they've seen that we've laid out a strategy in the marketplace for the stadiums that guarantees that we'll be playing games for the long term. One of the things for sponsors that is hugely important is a sense of longevity of commitment, and our ability now to look at the Wembley deal, look at the Tottenham deal, and point to a 10-year future of a commitment to a number of games will allow them to feel comfortable that this is an opportunity that they can follow.
And after spending the afternoon at Five Guys, that is a heck of a sponsorship, by the way, because it was amazing from their perspective that they have 32 Five Guys in the UK. and you've conformed the number of NFL teams to fit the sponsorship. Well done.
Yeah, no, it was a real tribute to either their store development plan or our ability to manage 32 owners. So it's a great partnership for us. It allows us to bring activation to life at retail with obviously a product and a brand that truly has an American authenticity and heritage to it. And they're just great partners. They activate well. Their employees are fully engaged in it, and it's a fabulous product.
Their commentary, by the way, very interesting. Their guys have said to us that the 15 to 20% of the people that frequent those Five Guys are tourists, but the others are Brits who are drawn in largely because they want to learn a little bit more about what's American.
Yep.
Watching the Dolphins play a couple of weeks ago, I'm not sure that's American, but it's another entirely different. They're getting better. Yeah. They're getting better, and it's a great sponsorship.
And let's be clear. I mean, it's a huge commitment from the Dolphins to give up not only a home game this year, but to give up a divisional game. So hats off to that.
Do you feel that you're putting some extra pressure on teams? There are now 2 teams that have come back and done some coach replacement after they've come over here during the bye week. What's your take on that?
Yeah, we certainly I like the reputation we had after the first year, which is the Giants came and then they won the Super Bowl. I prefer that reputation.
Let's remember that they beat the heck out of the Dolphins that year too, and they probably never have recovered, so that's another issue. Let's talk about the current deals. So Wembley's committed, Tottenham's committed. Talk a little bit about the venues here.
Yeah, the beauty of that setup now is we get to play in the home of English soccer, the national stadium, an iconic venue, and then when Tottenham comes on stream in 2018, that will be the newest stadium in London, and so we'll be able to offer our fans the ability to enjoy NFL football in basically the 2 premier stadia in London. So that's a great tribute, I think, to the fans that we've got.
In the City of London, how have they been as a partner?
They're a great partner. I mean, we'll put our 1 millionth fan through the Wembley turnstiles this weekend, and London has really embraced us, whether that's through the stadiums, whether that's through the mayor's office, and increasingly the government relationships that we've developed. So they've been great to us, and I hope we've been good for them too. The second point, though, is there's always going to be great sport going on in every market in the world. That's the beauty of sport. It's global and it's entertaining. And so if we want to be meaningful in that context, we're going to have to stand up and stand out.
Tour of football, college, Joe Castiglione. NFL, Tom Garfinkel. NFL International, Mark Waller. Back with Bust, Boom, and Hope, Football Edition, in just a minute.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 888-848-8242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Serious show, doesn't take itself too seriously. $1 trillion sport business. Spring edition of all things football, and keeping in that spirit. Bust, Boom, and Hope, the weekly segment, looking at the terrible, the good, and the hopeful in the economy. And let's start with Bust. Fresh off their Super Bowl win, the Denver Broncos raising ticket prices for a 5th consecutive season, and a variable pricing strategy on season ticket plans for the first time in franchise history. That's news is about a week old. Seats set to increase by 3%. Sports Authority Field at Mile High. Broncos designated several rivals, Patriots, Panthers, Chiefs, Colts, candidates for premium games. Prices hiked up even more to capitalize on consumer demand. Jets also announced plans to increase ticket prices for the first time since 2011. In variable pricing, using it this season, Jets up about 4% per seat. The only difference is that now, as of the latest free agent time when they announced this, the Broncos are quarterbackless. Boom! Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross reportedly holds secret talks with another kind of football, the European Super League, the biggest threat to English soccer since the EPL breakaway in '92, says the London Sun, and could spell the end of the UEFA Champions League, some alarmists say. One of the benefits of the proposed Super League, guaranteed qualification. In the current Champions League format, the top clubs would qualify each year and annually face the risk of not making the cut. Ross been involved in the International Champions Cup in U.S., China, Australia, and hopes to make this his biggest contribution to global soccer. He's intense, he's passionate. Do not underestimate Steve Ross. And finally, hope. Peyton Manning retiring. That's not new news, but the $27 million off-field endorsements, 21 franchise deal with Papa John's, his deals with companies like MasterCard and Sony and Gatorade. He may be in the broadcast booth. He may be involved with the Titans or the Colts or the Saints. Stay tuned for more Manning details to emerge. But the bottom line is he certainly has been great for the corporate endorsement business and will be for years to come. We'd like to thank Joe Castiglione, Tom Garfinkel, Mark Waller for focusing on football Spring Check Edition. And join us next week when once again we go Beyond the Scoreboard.